Guys to the stage.
Hey, I'm at the Gen Z event in London today. We've got 500 attendees here, really amazing, inspirational people, also some fantastic panelists. I'm on the panel later today speaking about bigger deals and also raising money as well. So let's go and meet some of the exciting panelists. I'm here with Anthony right now, a fellow brummie who focuses on big deals, volume stuff. Now that's the sexy, aspirational stuff that many people want to pursue. Often you can't start there. So what 3 tips can you give for people looking to follow that as a plan? They want to get into the bigger developments.
To get into the big developments, I think it's essential to have guidance. So when I did my first big development, I partnered with a developer. So he was actually, I had a lettings business at the time, he was a client in my business. And I went out and found a deal. I did some basic feasibility studies and worked out I can do a development on this site. But I knew that it was just too big and too new for me to try and tackle it myself. So I basically partnered with a developer. So that was one way for me to de-risk it. Another way that you have to de-risk it is making sure the rest of your professional team is established. So I don't want a newbie. If your architect has done, let's say,
residential extensions.
Yeah, extensions. They've got a long track record of doing extensions on houses. And now you bring them a 15-unit new build apartment block. That's not the architect. Fine, they may have done it in a previous practice 15 years ago, but you want to go to someone that does it day after day. It's a normal project, run-of-the-mill job. Exactly that. Your job is not a learning curve for them. It's just another one, cookie cutter, done, next one. And so I'd say that is another essential. So wider team and partners with experience, preferably a developer, I would say, if you're going to do a development project. Also, the third thing, I'd just say margins.
Yeah.
Make sure you've done proper DD, due diligence on the entire deal, and then make sure there's a fat enough margin there just to cover you, because things always go wrong on a project. And so I would say if you've got those 3 components right, then you can probably increase the pace at which you're able to start tackling those size deals.
Don't start off with something huge. You work with somebody who's quite experienced at the beginning, and then make sure you've got a team of people who are experienced at doing the project you want to do. And then also make sure your numbers are correct. Because I said things can take longer, cost
always longer.
You want to build that into it. And these projects aren't 2-month flips. These can drag on for a year, 2 years.
Years, even longer.
Yes.
No, I met a developer friend this week. He's got a project that was meant to be a year. It's now in its 3rd year.
Wow.
Because the contract went bust. And so it's a tricky game. When it works well, yeah, it's amazing. But when it doesn't work well,
the results, stress. The rewards at the end are amazing, but you've got to go through some challenges and be prepared for that. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect with you?
You can connect me on Instagram, YouTube, Anthony Laville, Laville. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from people.
We'll link those up on the screen and description as well.
Lovely, thank you
so much. Thank you.
Lovely.
today. I'm just with Sean right now. Sean, you're doing amazing work online. The power of social media, building a brand, building a presence, and you're getting 250,000 views on some of your videos. So phenomenal work. Most people know the importance of social media. Can you give us 3 tips on either how to start or to build a presence online?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first came on social media, I wasn't the person who's getting a lot of views. Sometimes, you only get 20 people or 30 people watching, and, you think, oh, what are my friends and family thinking? But the first thing is, regardless of anything, don't care what anyone else says. Second thing, it might not even be down to your video. It's about an algorithm that's choosing to put your videos at the top. So if you're copying somebody else's content, the algorithm already knows that. So it doesn't want to push them things. So the first thing is be authentic, bring your own personality, out. And that's what be the one thing that makes you different to everybody else, that it make your people find you. Second of all, there's something called SEO, search engine optimization. If you look at a field where you want to be known, put in them keywords and see what other people are doing. They'll give you a lot of ideas and a lot of stylistic ways.
Search for those words that you're interested in yourself and see what comes up.
Exactly, and then you'll get on them pages as well. And finally, it's a journey. This is something the book won't tell you.
Yeah.
Anything that come quickly, like winning the lottery, you lose it quite quickly as well, don't you? So it takes time. It's the 3 T's. Things take time, and just embrace that journey. And remember, you can wish for all of the money in the world, but what happens when you get there and you can afford everything? The journey's over, right? You can buy any brand in the world that makes you feel good, but what if you can afford all of them? You then truly find out who you are in your mind, the thing that makes you feel good. So, just embrace that journey, enjoy that journey, be honest on that journey, because these are the things that's going to make you happy when it's all over and done with,
So to summarize those things, firstly, be yourself, because everybody else is taken.
Absolutely.
And when you're thinking about what topics or what you want to talk about, do the research, do the SEO to understand that, and then enjoy the journey. Because
Exactly.
success is not a destination, it's the journey.
Exactly. And you never
Enjoy the process.
and you never work a day in your life.
Sean, if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, it's Seanland_1. That's SEANLAND_1.
See, you're famous. Everybody wants to find you.
Come on. Peace.
Thank you so much.
Nice, thank you, John.
Thank you. Ahmed just on the stage just now. Fantastic presentation. Thank you for that. You're a huge inspiration for young people looking to get into property. And let's say someone's in their 20s looking to get started. What 3 tips would you give somebody?
Yeah, the first thing I would say is stick to one thing. Right now, one of the biggest issues that we have is there's so many options.
Yes.
Saz says do HMOs. I say do Airbnb. Someone else then comes and says, well, do development.
Shiny penny.
Shiny penny syndrome. And I think you really have to stick to one thing when you're starting out, because from the outside, everything looks easy. When we make videos, it's a 5-minute video, it's a 10-minute video. It might be a 2-minute video. So when Saz says, oh, I did this HMO and it's really quick, and do you know how much work has gone into this? There's so much gone into it, but of course, that's hard to share in a 5-minute video, 4-minute video. Everything's going to take longer. Everything's going to cost more money. Everything's going to be much harder than you anticipate. So stick to one thing, perfect that one thing, and then move on to the next thing. Tip number 2, you really, I would say, work for people for free if you can. Yeah, or find mentors who have already been there and done that thing, because there's nothing which can replace that hands-on experience of actually going out there. You can read a book, you can watch a video, you can listen to a podcast, and that's great in terms of building a foundation of your knowledge. But you can watch every single video about driving a car. Until you sit in a car, it's never the same thing. So you have to focus on one thing, and then you have to work for someone for free, get a mentor in place, and start immersing yourself, for real, as opposed to just learning more and more.
Yes. Put the theory into practice.
Put the theory into practice, yeah. And finally, I would say, do the easiest thing possible. In today's culture, you might share a deal where you made £400,000, £500,000, and someone goes, oh, well, Sad has made £400,000. Like, I want to do the £400,000 deal. But you've been doing this for 20 years. You know what to look for and how to do it and which deal, the risk and so on and so forth. You only get that through 20 years of experience, 10 years, 4 years, 5 years. Rather than looking at how much money you're going to make, think, what is the easiest, simplest thing I can just get done? even if you make £5,000, £2,000, because nothing is worth more than the confidence you get from actually getting something done. Because once you make the £5,000, you go, well, actually, if I didn't make those mistakes, I could probably make 14. And then you go, I can make 20.
Yeah.
So 100% I would do that.
Yeah. So in summary, firstly, it's a case of get one thing, be clear on one strategy, stick to that one. Secondly, try and learn from somebody's experience. If you can do some free work for them, try and get around for them. And thirdly, in terms of implement, because that's where the learning is, not the theory and the implementation.
100%.
Great tips. Thank you so much. If somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah. If you want to speak to me directly, Instagram is always the best for DMs. But if you want to really learn from my content, I would say YouTube. I've got an 11-hour-long video, a 10-hour-long video. So if you want the in-depth, like the nuts and the bolts and the meat, YouTube. If you just want to say hello and get a quick couple of questions in here and there, Instagram.
Fantastic. We'll link both of those in the description on the video as well. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice for that.
Hey, I'm just here with Shaz. In terms of where's Shaz? Shaz is right here next to me. And Shaz is going to be on the panel with me later on, talking about finance when we're on the development panel at this Gen Z event. So what 3 tips can you give people that are looking to access funds for a development project or investment property? What kind of key 3 tips can you share with us?
Great question. I think 3 key things. First of all is be very mindful and aware of your credit file and your credit report. Get a copy of your credit file, get it regularly, keep an eye on the conduct, make sure what's on there is what's meant to be on there. Don't miss any payments, of course, but if that's happened, if you have missed payments, let the lender or your broker know that's happened and why, so they can explain it before they get asked about it. Positioning is really important. So if you tell them, yeah, this is what happened, we can explain it, and it's less of a red flag than the other way around. Next thing I would say, and people always forget this, is get really clear around your source of funds. So it's great, you've got your deposit, but Saj, where's that money come from?
Yes.
And you could say, yeah, it's a gift from my family friend. I've got money in committee, I've got this, I've got this. Yeah, pull that money and explain and break it all down. Can that money be traced? Because the solicitor will have to check that.
Yes.
And lastly, I think it's just get really clear on what you want to do and why and what your exit is. So you're going to do a development. Okay, that for the 6 months of development, what's the exit plan? I want to get a 7-bedroom HMO. Okay, fine, but you're a first-time landlord, you've got no assets, got no income. Can you actually get a mortgage for a 6 or 7-bed HMO? So figure out the exit and work backwards.
Okay, so first it's case get the credit file right. Yep, check that, make sure that's in place. Secondly, make sure you meticulously understand your source of funds, where the money's come from, traced all the way back. And the third one is understanding the exit, be clear what you want to ensure that you can access the right type of funding. Shaz is fantastic, thanks so much. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
It's to ask the magic question, which is, where's Shaz?
Fantastic, thank you, much appreciated. Kazi, the host of the event today, doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And you're known for developing in London. You've been doing this quite a long time. So if someone's looking to make London the place that they want to invest, often people get put off with the high entry points and also yields are low. What 3 tips would you give somebody who's looking to invest in London, make London the place they want to invest?
Okay, so in terms of 3 tips for investing in London, I think you're very right. Like, look, London isn't necessarily the place for yield. So as a starting point, what do you want to get out of investing? If you're focusing on yields, London probably isn't going to be the place for you unless you're either focusing on like a blue chip commercial tenant for commercial property or a high yield in HMO, something to add additional value to the asset itself. Now, for me, I think my main kind of takeaway from London is always location, location, location. Like if you can position yourself in somewhere in close proximity to high value areas, London's really obvious. Like zone 1 is kind of like your most expensive and it then goes out as a nucleus from zone 1. So if you buy somewhere, in zone 1, for example, if you buy somewhere in zone 2, that's like really good standard of finish, potentially you can attract the zone 1 buyers so you can push up the ceiling price. I think the other thing about London is because the area is so dense, understanding location on a really granular level. So for example, understanding where the good catchment areas are, where the right roads are, that's going to be the difference. In London, we're talking about the difference of 50, 60, 70,000 pounds sometimes, even sometimes from one side of the street to the other side of the street. So I think local geographical area is really important. Finally, I think that the London model is really about pound for pound return when you're looking at investing. So if you're going to spend money, is that going to drastically increase the value of a property? So some things, unfortunately, so tidying up, for example, like a basement or a cellar, even sometimes spending a lot of money on gardens is like, is more kind of like in a place where it's vanity over value.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily add the value that you want to see. Whereas, if you look at an area like Fulham, where your price per square foot is £1,000, you doing a rear extension is going to cost you £50,000 and add, 200 square foot is going to add a massive amount of value for not, the same level. So your return on investment is really good.
Okay, to summarize, London really, if you're thinking about yields, that might be the right place, and you think about how you're going to invest and what it is you're trying to achieve. Secondly, in terms of location, is absolutely key. Fundamentally, knowing it down to kind of micro level understanding. And then thirdly, making sure that what you're investing is going to generate a return, that your pound for pound investment is generating in return, and it's not a vanity investment.
Exactly that.
Fantastic tips there. And if somebody wants to reach out and connect to you, what's the best way to do that?
So probably mostly Instagram, Property by Kazi, but you can also find me on YouTube for longer form content. Like some content like yourself. You have me on your podcast, and I'm sure you'll find me there as well.
Fantastic. We'll link both those up on the video.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
I'm just here with Justin at the Gen Z event. You were on the panel earlier on today. So look, you've sourced more than 250 property deals. When someone's thinking about getting started in property and finding property deals, sourcing, what 3 tips would you give somebody looking to start?
Well, first of all, good to see you again, Saj, and always nice to see you at these events. The 3 things I would focus on. The first one would be just you've got to get yourself out there to as many things like this as possible, because when you get started, you've kind of got nothing almost going for you. You're probably thinking about sourcing because you want to raise capital, make money, and you're probably going to need to think about how you can solve that. So the first thing, network, get out there, meet as many people as possible, have as many conversations, anyone you could potentially work with. The second thing really is you need to get out there and see properties. A lot of people I find, and when I talk to people, they think they might find a deal on Rightmove, and there are deals on Rightmove, but they're rarely just sitting there ready to go. I think you have to get on the viewing, have a conversation with the estate agent, and then things materialise in which you make you think, I might be able to secure this for this price, and or I might build a relationship with the agent and they bring me another property. And often by getting out there, that creates more deals, that creates the opportunity. The opportunities are rarely just there on Rightmove. If they were, everyone would be doing it, right? So that's the first 2. And then the third one is just get really good at understanding what a good deal looks like. Because if a deal isn't good to start with, and we see this quite a lot in sourcing, people try to make a deal work. And then you think you've got something, you get an offer accepted, and if it's not, really good, and it's not a deal that everyone wants to buy, you're then not going to be able to sell it. Then you've got an awkward conversation with the agent, or, and you'll really push yourself backwards in terms of progress. Whereas get really good at understanding deal analysis, get really good at finding good deals, and that's how you create value, that's how you make money.
To summarize, first is building a network, get out meeting people, because that'll be potential investors, someone that's probably got deals as well. Secondly, viewing the properties. You're not going to do it at your desk. You need to get out, look at the properties. And the third one, appraising the numbers correctly, making sure it is a deal rather than trying to force, around a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, that's it.
Justin, what's the best way for people to connect with you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you. So I run a business called 𝗵𝗵𝗃. You can find me on Instagram underneath the handle, which is my name, Justin Wilkins, or under 𝗵𝗵𝗃. Reach out to me on there, or YouTube, like you're probably watching me now. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Luke. You have a fantastic day. Really appreciate it. Seeing you again.
Good to see you again, mates. Thank you.
Hey, I'm just here with Jack at the Gen Z event. Jack, lovely to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Jack, your core thing is finding deals for armchair type investors. You take them through the full process, finding them, getting them set up for them. So if someone's looking to find property, say off market, direct to vendor, what 3 tips can you give us?
I think when it comes to off-market deals, quite often people will try and do too many different things. They hear Facebook ads work, Google ads work, letters work, leaflets work, door knocking works. There's so many different things that can work. And to be honest, I've found that they all do work, but not if you just do a scattergun approach and try everything. So I would say choose one to start with, one of those approaches, and just learn to do it really well. If that's going to be Facebook ads, then just learn as best you can how to run Facebook ads and get very good at those. So there's that, like niching down on your direct-to-vendor strategy. Then when it comes to actually speaking to the sellers themselves, it's making sure that you're asking the right questions, making sure that you are qualifying them, making sure that you're getting to the heart of what the motivation is. Because really, someone might be wanting to sell their property. They might sound like they're really eager, but actually when it comes to it and you start, asking those questions, they're not really in much of a rush. They're not really there to take much of a discount. They're happy to just wait as long as they need to get the best price. What we want to find is properties that have good opportunities, but with motivated sellers. So we need to get down to what is the motivation of the seller. Are they looking to retire? Are they looking to, have they inherited the property? Do they need to pay off some debts? Whatever it might be, is finding the motivation. And then finally, I would say it's the calculation, making sure that the numbers stack. There's no point doing a deal just because someone says they want to sell a house and you agree a price. That doesn't make it a good deal. And the last bit is calculating the deal. So making sure that the deal actually stacks. What I like to say is start with the end in mind and work your way back. Really simple way to stack a flip property is, what is the end value? What is the GDV? If you're buying a 3-bedroom terraced house and there's a really nice 3-bedroom terraced house that's sold on that street for £200,000, okay, start there. That's what it's going to be worth once it's done up. After that, you take off what your profit is going to be, what you would like your profit to be. Let's say it's £30,000, you're getting down to 170, and then it's going to cost £20,000 to do that work, so you're down to 150, and then you've got fees and all those things included as well, so you maybe take that down to 140. If you can secure that property at 140, do the work, sell it for 200, you're on to a winner.
So to summarize, then firstly, it's getting the right marketing strategy in place. Focus on one strategy, Facebook ads, leaflets, whatever it is you're doing. Secondly, what you want to do is make sure you understand the motivation of the seller, because a motivated seller is where you're going to get a deal. And third and final thing you said was really about the numbers, work backwards so you can ensure that there's a profit there.
That's it. That's it.
Great advice. And if somebody wants to reach out, connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Instagram, Jack David Smith, or check out the website, thepropertynetwork.uk.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. You have a great day.
Bye.
Hey, I'm just here with Jazz, who's a property lawyer, and we want Jazz to share with us 3 tips in looking for the best possible lawyer for our property deals. What would you share?
Yeah, sure. So the first one would always be like capacity. Check with your solicitor that they do have capacity, how many caseloads they're doing. Is it 500? Is it 40? You'll kind of engage where you are in that priority of list, to be honest. Second one will probably be fixed fees. Make sure what you are quoted is what you are being charged. There's a lot of hidden charges with solicitors, with some solicitors. So you may not find out until completion when they give you a statement of account and you'd be like, oh wow, like what is this fee? So you don't want to be alarmed really. And a final tip would be, ask them their methods of communication. Like, are they available by email, by telephone, or any other kind of like method really? Because there's a lot of solicitors and they're through operators, and it will be like, oh, you're caller number 10. So just try and understand there is that kind of communication available.
Cool. So really capacity to make sure they're not overworked. In terms of fees, getting really clear what the fees are, and also communication, how you're going to be able to communicate with them, or is it going to be their assistants or them directly?
Absolutely.
Great tips. Thank you so much. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
You can reach me through the Taylor Rose website. So I'm Jasbir Dhaliwal. So if you just type in Jasbir Dhaliwal into the Google with solicitor, it will come up. Otherwise, you can follow me on Instagram, UK_property_solicitor.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Much appreciated. Hey, I've just met Hamza here. Hamza is a high-end estate agent. Now, Hamza, a question for you. When someone's looking to appoint an agent, especially if someone's developing, they're flipping, they've got a nice property they want to sell, what do you think are 3 things people need to think about before appointing the right agent?
I think from my experience, Aj, with speaking to people who are selling property, they often overlook the fact that not all agents are the same. They assume an estate agent is an estate agent, their job is to sell. Really, what they don't realize is a lot of agents are there just to list. If you want someone who's actually going to sell your development, especially one that you've invested a lot of time and money into, you need to make sure you're looking at someone who's got an actual strategy in place. So what I would do if I was a seller is I'd actually ask the agent, what is your marketing strategy to sell my development or my property? The other thing to bear in mind is fee. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So don't compare agents just by fee. Yes, fee is something to consider. Really, I'd be comparing them off process. And at the end of the day, if they've got a good process, the fees are relevant because you'll get that money back anyway.
Yeah.
And the other thing is exposure. Exposure is key, and getting the right type of exposure. And that can only happen with an agent who's got a real strategy in place to market your property the way it should be to the right buyer. Because the right buyer will pay more money than just any buyer they've brought around for the sake of it.
Yes. So great 3 tips here. So first of all, make sure you're not getting a lister. You get somebody who understands their marketing plan, how they're going to get that property out into the marketplace for you. Secondly, fee, as you said, often we look for the cheapest, but cheapest isn't always the best, because an agent that is going to make a good fee out of it is one that's going to work much harder. And often they'll achieve you a better price anyway, as we said, the value. And then the third thing you mentioned about the exposure, very few agents are still utilizing social media to be able to market properties properly. And I think one that understands that is definitely going to help. So what's the best way someone to connect with you if they want to reach out to you?
Best way is on social media, Hamza Luxury Property, on all areas there.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Hamza. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. I'm just with one of the co-founders of the Gen Z event, Poku here. So Poku, has been an amazing day. You put 500 attendees, much appreciated, and some great panelists as well. I've been taking lots of notes and learning, and some great reminders for me, and also new things as well. What do you see as 3 key learnings people would have taken away from today?
Yeah, well, first of all, note takers are money makers. So
I like that.
With that being said, the first thing I feel that people have taken today is that they should be confident, go ahead and provide value. Give something in exchange. You can't be a leech. You can't just go around taking. No one want to mess with you. So provide value. If it's someone that's ahead of you, show them what you can do, and then that's how you can learn. Secondly, just take action. Again, you can be on the panel next year. It's very possible as long as you take action and do. Like we all wear Nike, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just get on with doing things. Take action. The difference between a lot of people is just because they were just dumb enough not to doubt themselves. And then finally, again, seek specialized knowledge. Okay, only copy someone if you want to switch places with them. So, for example, if you're into developments, again, watch Saj's videos, watch them all, consume it, and then you can then go on to then ask the proper questions. Consume all the free information and then go on to make that payment, make that investment. It's not lost money. You've just taken that money and you're transferring it into your brain. And with that, you can then transfer it into real life with real developments.
It's working out what's the right strategy, and then it's learning the knowledge, and then making sure we are implementing that, taking the action, and having the support environment around us. That's really what leads to success. So you talked about the next event next year. So when's the next event?
Next event, the next real estate conference will be around next year, April. And make sure you get your tickets. Be connected with us on all the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, mainly Instagram, and then our mailing list as well.
And we'll connect those up. We'll put them on screen as well, put them in the description. But you've got another event coming up before that. That's the Entrepreneur one. Tell us about that one, how people can book for that.
Yeah, they can get your tickets now. Early bird tickets are out now, very, very cheap. And essentially, the Entrepreneurship Summit will be a range of industries where people can come together, and the guest speakers will be given their insights on how you can grow your business, whether that's through marketing or through creating value and getting the right products or being in the right industry. Sometimes it's just about being in the right place at the right time.
Okay, thank you so much. And once again, well done for a great event. I appreciate it. Thank you, too. Cool. Hey, I'm just here with the amazing Denzil, who's one of the co-founders of the Gen Z event. So first of all, tell us, what is the Gen Z event?
Yeah, so the Gen Z Club event is a place where we put together like-minded young entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, We created this platform to help these young people get empowered and inspired to achieve their dreams.
And it's a phenomenal event. You've got like 500 people here. I'm really impressed. I'm one of those people that say, Gen Z, maybe they're a little bit lazy. We've got a daughter that falls into that category. I thought maybe they're a little bit lazy. But it shows on a Saturday, you've got a packed room in London. So people are eager, they're hungry, they're motivated. So what things are they looking to learn today, do you think?
Yeah, so we're tackling all elements, right? We have people who are looking in property careers, property development, first-time buyers. And I think a lot of people have that misconception about Gen Zs, finding them that they're not interested. But I think a lot of Gen Z, they just don't find the relatability. They don't think that they can actually achieve these goals. So that's why we put wonderful speakers out. For example, yourself, when I started my journey, you was one of the first people I was listening to. And again, having that relatability now allows them to actually see a clear path for them to achieve their goals.
And so when's the next event?
Next event, September, it's an entrepreneur summit. So similar to the property one, but just based on every type of business, different speakers, different panels, and different entrepreneurs sharing their business and networking.
And what's the best way people connect to you or learn more about the event?
So myself, _Denzil Jones or .Denzil Jones on YouTube and Instagram, and 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is 𝗵𝗵𝗃 on Instagram and TikTok as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you.